We can either stress out about an outcome or release ourselves. This gives us a life that's much more fulfilling, and it prevents our minds and our bodies from being overburdened by something that we have no control over anyway. I find it really frustrating, this modern fixation or obsession with outcomes and achievements. My team will see people who are constantly saying to themselves, what else can I do to achieve my goals, or at least look like I'm trying to achieve something? They either get high-strung and then their sleep, diet, and bodies deteriorate, or they say, forget about it. I'm just not going to do anything, and then shut down. Also not good. Now in my life, I'm trying to be a good father, a good clinician, a good businessman. So I'm constantly asking myself, what else can I do? So I remind myself of a story from a holy Hindu book called the Gita, which is a lesson about letting go of outcomes. So in this story, the main character, Arjuna, is sitting on this hill and he's looking down at a battlefield. On the other side of the battlefield are a bunch of his relatives, his cousins, his uncles. And he knows that he has to go down and kill, or at least fight, some of them. And he goes, I don't want to do this. Now, some people say that this is an allegory for life, a metaphor for life, because in life we hurt others, they hurt us. And so Arjuna is saying, I don't really want to do this anymore. Now, his charioteer, who is an incarnation of God, his charioteer's name is Krishna, and Krishna reveals himself as God and says to Arjuna, your job in life is as a warrior. Now, in the Hindu tradition, each person has a role to play in society, and Arjuna's is as a fighter, a warrior. All he does is train and go to battle. So Krishna says, you have to do your job. You were given all of these resources and talents as a warrior. Use them. Whether or not you get hurt or other people get hurt is not up to you. It's up to me. Now we see this message in other religious or spiritual teachings as well, where the most important lesson is that we use our natural gifts, our talents, our abilities to do things, but let God or the universe take care of the outcomes. Now, we don't have to believe in God to understand that if we chase after an outcome, an achievement, that there are a lot of factors that we cannot control. But in reality, it's very difficult to release ourselves from the outcomes. I mean, how could I not worry about the outcomes of my job because I need that money to take care of my kids or parents? There's a great deal of stress and anxiety to not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, especially when we're responsible for other people. This is where our environment comes in. Sometimes we're surrounded by the right resources, advisors, and supports at key moments to help us get the outcomes we're hoping for. But when the outcomes are not desirable, we can be comforted in knowing that we are not alone. We'll most likely be able to find people that we can commiserate with or who can support us through this failure. Each of us will experience both successes and failures at different points in our lives. So we have a choice. We can either stress out about an outcome and constantly ask ourselves, what else can I do? What else can I do? Or we can focus on finding our purpose, passions, and talents and doing things for the sake of those purposes, passions, and outcomes, and release ourselves from the outcome or outcomes of that doing. This gives us a life that's much more fulfilling, and it prevents our minds and our bodies from being overburdened by something that we have no control over anyway.